So before I start, I just want to apologize if you hear noise in the background. It is raining out there. It's literally bucketing over there. So I don't know if you can hear the pitter-patter on the roof or the rumbling of the thunder in the sky. I apologize for that. But today I want to pick up where we left off. We left off where we're talking about art and inspiration and how artwork can be visually appealing for the learner. And it's no different. Well, I actually want to use two examples. I was asked to recreate this intervention because it was so badly designed. The next thing I want to say is that this was created some time ago. Once again, when bandwidth wasn't big, we just moved into ADSL so we could just start using videos and things like that. And also this was created in a product called Quest. Now Quest is what I want to term like, those PowerPoint kind of software applications. So like Authorware, Lectora, Articulate, Captivate, that kind of thing. So you'll see a lot of next, and lots of text and fly-ins and all sorts of things. And finally, this is built around a new piece of legislation that was coming out. And for me to create learning material for something that is legislative related is so difficult because everything is so defined and there's one paragraph after the next with a sub-paragraph and a sub-menu and then definitions for every single word. It is really, really difficult. It's like I want to take the document and just say, yeah, to the learner, read this. It's all well-defined, yeah. Okay, so without further ado, let's have a look over here. So this is it over here. And I'm going to click next. So the first thing, before I even start, the idea is I want to be a learner and I've gone through the learning material and I want to come back and I want to find something specific. So I'm going to time myself because I want to show you something specific. So I'm going to start the timer now. Okay, at the same time, I'm going to comment as I go along. So it says, please enter your name. Now this to me is a little bit silly because nowhere does this name even come up again. So I'm going to say begin and nowhere does it ever appear again. Throughout the module, you got this old man talking to us and basically I can read faster than what the typewriting effect is happening. And I think maybe back in the day, this was a hot thing. I'm not sure, but it really takes a lot of time. You got all this over here and just click next. Fly-ins. Okay, so I'm just going to keep quiet now. So I just want to slow down here for a minute. So there's a whole lot of these flow diagrams in this module, and basically they want you to mouse over and then you get all the sort of definitions and that on the side. That doesn't even look good. Okay, but I'll talk about that later. Let's carry on. Okay, so here we go. It's taken us 2 minutes, 40 seconds, and I just clicked. I really didn't even read or interact, so it would even take longer. So the first thing I want to say is if you're a learner, you're definitely not going to get through this module in one fell swoop. So it means you're going to have to come back. And when I say come back, you're going to come back couple of times. It's going to take you a couple of days to get through this learning intervention because basically I think what they did is the way they designed this menu structure was most probably based on the paragraphs, and then you'll see in each of these there's a sub menu, so you're going to click on that and then you're going to go further down. The other thing I want to say is you can see that this is created for two different people, non-advice givers and advice givers. So my opinion is well, create one for advice givers and one for non-advice givers. Don't include both of them. I don't think I would do that. Anyway, so let's carry on. Now I want to show you something specific. So I'm going to click Code of Conduct. Now this here to me is also silly. You fill in something. Everybody knows you're not going to read it by this stage. So basically you're just going to say check answer and it's going to move on. Yeah, I don't really understand that. But it happens a lot. It happens in a lot of learning interventions that I see. Okay, I'm going to speed this up again. I'm going to keep quiet. Finally, here we are. So let me just quickly look. How long it took me? 5.5 minutes just to get here. And note that we're going to go from here to more submenus and more data, content, etc. And I mean, if you are a learner, you've gone through learning content, you remembered something and you want to go back to a module and to go find it, it's going to take you 5 minutes and 34 seconds just to get here. And The other thing, okay, so that's the one thing I was trying to get across. The other point I was making is, what scares me about this module is every time I click next, I'm scared I'm going to run into another submenu. And believe me, this whole module is riddled with submenu after submenu after submenu. And then you click on it. And I think what I'm trying to say over here, that this is, first of all, it's a daunting topic. But secondly, the module doesn't contribute or help in any form or fashion. So let me jump over to show you what I did. I just want to go over here to main menu. So you remember this main menu over here? So let me show you what I created. So this menu structure is this menu structure here. So the first thing I wanted to do is I wanted to make it visually appealing. I wanted to grab people's attention. I want them to go move over a button and see what it says. So it's like sort of drawing the attention of the learner. And this to me is more interactive than just clicking those menu buttons. Just clicking, it didn't work for me. The other thing that I wanted to do is I wanted to be 2 clicks away from the information that you want. I didn't want you to take 5.5 minutes to get to the information that you wanted. And what I did then is I redesigned the whole thing. So before I move on, I just want to explain to you. So what we did over here is this was created in a product called Director. And basically, Director was actually much more powerful than Flash in that time. And what we could do is we could pull in 3D animations. So I created this in 3D Studio Max. The problem that I have nowadays is we don't have a product that we can do something like this. There's almost like this gap in the marketplace. And even today's standards, I think this is quite visually appealing. In the background, every time you mouse over a button, so over here, for example, you'll hear the guy pull the drawer open. You'll have this office noise in the background. You mouse over this one, you hear typing in the background or the door opening. So it's kind of giving that look and feel of the office. Next thing is, like I said to you, it had to be 2 clicks away. So that's 1 click, and 2 clicks would be to one of these over here. You can't get rid of text, so you still have your definitions, you still have to read. But then what I did is when you went from one menu to the next and so forth, I included them in these videos, audios, or animation. And it would explain everything that was behind that one submenu. So if you had to click over there, there would be an audio that plays in the background, telling you everything that would have been in the old version in some form of a submenu or things like that. A video, we would get managers to talk about the topic at hand, very specific on what we were talking about. And then we had animations, which we obviously then created in 3D Studio Max. So if you remember back there, they had these flow diagrams and you had to mouse over and then more text just popped up and you had to read more text. Here, basically, I talk about the whole complaint procedure and we put it in an animation format instead of those flow diagrams. If I head back over here and I want to click on this one over here, you can see that each one of these are actually submenus. But remember, the idea and the goal was 2 clicks and then you got your information. So 1 click was to get you. And if you rolled over any of these, you then click on it and you would then get the audio playing in the background. But at all times, you'd have all the information here. More than that, I'm hoping it's going to draw you just to quickly see, disclosures. And, it's going to draw you to want to see what the little icon represents. To get back home, you simply click over there and you then can access information. So to conclude, I think what I'm trying to show you here is that artwork definitely has its place in the e-learning industry. And that I think poor design of a module leads to very unhappy, disgruntled learners. And literally I was called in to rework the old one because it was so long and laborious. And it's not that the content wasn't long and laborious, but it's not like the learning intervention helped in any form or way. So I think what I'm trying to say is when creating learning material or e-learning, remember those 4 sectors. You have to use what you have in all 4 sectors, creating the content. That was another thing which I found also very difficult, which I just want to mention. When you read somebody else's work, you kind of think systematically like they've created it. And it's so difficult to break away and come up with your own ideas and imagination just because you're now taught in that formal fashion. And that's exactly what I had over here. I had the struggle of pulling away and saying, no, think about it the way you would want it. Come up with this 2-button idea, concept, but it's so difficult because in the old one, there were like 3 or 4 menus before you got to what you wanted. So I just want to say, you have to think about the learning intervention and then that artistic visual flair. And then believe it or not, there's a lot of programming behind this in Director, which actually makes this possible. So learning your software and things like that is also crucial. Creating video clips, knowing how to compress the videos, getting good quality audio coming through. All of that plays a role. And I hope this demonstrates exactly why I had that sort of that graph with all the different sectors in it.